This week on Fishing Canada, we'll take you to many Canadians' home away from home, sunny Florida, where we spent 2 days pit fishing for largemouth bass. And you talk about great fishing excitement. We'll show you the results in 1 minute, so don't go away.
Yes, we're in for some good fishing in Canada.
What's golfing got to do with fishing, especially Fishing Canada? Well, we're back at beautiful Greenleaf Resort, Lake Marion, Central Florida. And if you caught our opening episode this year, you know that we fished for largemouth bass right in this lake over the treetops behind us, called Lake Marion. But this time we're going to throw just a little different twist to it. We're going to be fishing spring-fed phosphate pits.
Now these phosphate pits are open pit mines that have been stripped, creating a large cavity in the surface of the earth. And after mining out all the phosphate, they've been abandoned probably 60, 70, 100 years ago. Now in the course of the next 50, 60 years, water has drained into them, plus natural springs that have fed these things have filled them up. So we've got water depths of anywhere from 20 feet to 100 feet deep in these pits. And the population of the largemouth bass that are in there is just amazing. Now,
because most of them are privately owned, still owned by the companies that used to do the mining in them, they're closed off to public fishing in most cases. And that's why the fish have been... I've heard, now I don't want to get you too excited, but I've heard that there's some 14, 16, 18-pound largemouth bass out there just waiting to be caught.
you weren't trying to excite me, but I think you just captured it.
And I can hardly wait to get out there.
There's one thing that might excite you, though, is that this particular pit that we're going to be going to has only been fished by 12 people this year. So it's basically a virgin type of fishing experience that we're going to have.
Well, let's not waste any more time and let's get out there. I'm sure you want to see it, and I know I want to get out there and do it. So let's go. We had good reason to be anxious to get to our first pit, an abandoned limestone quarry with water as deep as 100 feet. We split into 2 fishing parties with Reno, Ronnie Wagers, our Central Florida guide, and Kevin Zebniak from Lawrence, Canada in one boat, and myself, Tom Brook of Shimano, Canada, and Jerry Moon, a good friend and professional guide, in the other boat. Of course, pit fishing is not readily available in Canada, and I'm not sure whether it was just the thrill of a new fishing experience or the thought of tangling with a 10-pound plus bass, but I can tell you the adrenaline was flowing that morning. Because of the high alkaline level of the water, visibility was magnificent. We could easily see structure as deep as 30 feet down. We had good reason to be excited about our prospects that day. Before our camera crew had time to launch their boat, we were into 2- and 3-pound bass. Well, today I'm fishing with a good buddy of mine, Tom Brooks. He's been on the show a few times. He's no stranger. And back at the end of the boat, holding his own back there, is Mr. Moon, Jerry Moon. We're going to be doing 2 types of fishing today. Shiner fishing, which is what I'm doing. And Tom, you're...
Plastic worm.
Plastic worm. And they've both been deadly so far.
Oh, we've had a great day so far.
It's been incredible.
There's one.
Woo! Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
We got trouble.
Yeah.
He's gone.
You got him?
Yep.
Good.
Get out of the way, Tom.
Yep.
Oh! There we go.
We get the triple on the rib. Okay.
Oh, yeah! Oh, no!
Get over here.
Oh, yeah!
Woo! I was a lot bigger than that.
Oh!
Look at this. Look at this. You think he's got that swallowed?
heard that.
Oh, Lord, love a duck.
I don't think I can get that out.
Well, I need to borrow one of y'all's old flipping rigs in or something.
All right. Woo.
Going around.
Knock him around there.
I rest my case.
All right. There he is.
I rest my case. I think we're in school of them, guys. I don't think we need to go anywhere for a minute.
We found a few fish here.
Did you ever smack that? Pretty
Aren't
little
they
thing,
nice?
oh? Isn't
Aren't
that
they
nice?
something else?
Isn't that gorgeous? He's got quite the stubble on his teeth, too. Look at that.
They're
Look at
all
that.
right
Look at that.
things. They're
Look at the stubble.
recording it.
Yeah.
Isn't that pretty? Not very big, but felt good.
I'd like to introduce you to a couple of great fishing buddies and my fishing team for this afternoon, or this morning. Kevin Zebiak with Lawrence, Canada, and of course our Central Florida guide, Ronnie Wagers. Ronnie, what are we going to be doing today? We're going to be working some shiners?
Yeah, we're gonna be working some shiners down in the gut of all these cuts. And then we're gonna be working plastic worms down the stair steps.
Just like what we're doing right now.
Right.
All right, I'd say let's get serious about this thing, see what we can put together, and see if we can beat our competition, Ange and the other two guys.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. There you go.
Monster Man.
Look at that, look at that.
Monster Man.
I hooked him with his lower lip. There he comes. Just a little guy.
Yep.
Come on. Small fish. Cute though. Oh, look at that. He jumped right up out of the water again. Nice fish. All right. Just a little guy.
Little guy. Well, he charged my battery though, you know what I mean?
Ronnie, everything charges your battery.
Yes. Yes. I saw Phyllis Diller one day. I got all charged.
You get a little charge out of that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Kevin, your turn.
Alright. It's been my turn for a while now, hasn't it? Since sort of this morning it's been my turn. You keep catching all the fish, Reno. There we go. There we go.
Alright. What's that come from?
Nope, nope.
I just put my I tell you, we must be in the school of bass this size here. Little cutie, yeah?
Stay tuned for more Fishing Canada.
Although we came equipped with lots of shiners, plastic worms work so well early in the day that we stuck with them well into the afternoon. We started by crawling them through the shallower weed lines and worked our way out into the deeper water, bouncing them off the numerous ledges and underwater stair steps, which were left behind by the earlier excavation of the mine. As we found out when the two parties got together on shore, a strange color called tequila red was without question the most productive worm on both boats. There seemed to be bass everywhere from 2 feet to 100 feet deep, so we just kept casting that worm everywhere we saw water. By the time we decided to switch back to shiners, it was getting late, but we had the following day to use the shiners on a more serious note.
Listen, we didn't get any big fish today, though. What do you think the problem was?
I don't know. A fella lost one today, I think we did.
Yeah. You had
one
a
hooked
real
that
big one
way.
out?
Yeah, well you broke off that one there on the shiner.
Yeah.
We broke off one fish. We never.
That had to be a really big fish, too, the way you thought it.
But a lot of fish. I don't think I've ever had that many fish come up to the boat in one day.
Oh, we had a lot of fun.
I got a feeling we're going to have something with a little heavier tomorrow. Get
Down
it
a little
to sink
deeper.
a little quicker before we do these little
Fish
guys
a little
get out.
deeper, maybe with the golden, spend a little more time with the golden shiners.
Maybe we'll double them up and have twice as much fun.
You see what's going to happen, so you know your smaller fish, you know, is first at the table.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, we've got the big fish to go tomorrow.
So we weeded out all the small ones, what
Right.
you're saying.
Right, we eliminated that part of it.
Yeah,
Now we're going to get down to the fishing.
We called through the small ones, right?
Right.
Now we're going to get some serious tournament ones.
We're going to be using mostly shiners again, you think?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll use basically the same thing we did today, and we'll mostly concentrate a little bit deeper tomorrow than we did today. We didn't stay deep enough probably today for the bigger fish.
Yeah, most of those fish came off the shoreline.
Wait a minute, guys. We were talking 40, 50 feet deep. We're going to go deeper than that tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll be going deeper than that tomorrow. We'll go a little heavier sinker and get on down.
You've never been in water that deep, have you?
Yeah, I have. When I was coming across the Atlantic on the last time. All right. All right, Kevin.
There we are.
I think we're going to get our bet back today.
There's one of them anyway. There we
start.
go. There's a good size one.
Gonna keep him?
I think we keep that.
Keep him for now, yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right.
What'd you get him on, a plastic worm?
Yep. Red shed.
My mother never raised any fools, so I think I'm going to put on a red shad worm.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need another one.
This little guy? Yeah. Geez, they come up and scrap, don't they? Whoa! Nice!
There you are. There you go.
They are something else, aren't they? Scrappy little guys.
Love them. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. I'll tell the other boat that red might be the color.
It might be the color. Yeah.
Although I still think that shiners are going to be the answer here.
Yeah. I think I got them going. Yeah, there it goes. There it goes, guys.
There it goes.
It's going.
There it goes.
Set it.
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough. Yeah, I'd set it.
All right.
I better get the
I think I
net.
got the whole bottom here.
I better get the net. I better get the net.
Get up here.
Wow, look at that.
Am
Look
I
at that
hung
thing.
up? Am I?
Huh? No.
All right. There
Here
it
comes.
is.
Here comes. Here comes. Here comes.
Get her in there.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Look at
Holy jeez.
Oh,
Okay,
Jesus.
I'm not even going to say nice fish on this one.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Listen. Let's try to get.
Beautiful.
I thought I had
Isn't
the whole
that
bottom
something?
of the lake.
Isn't this,
That
look
ain't
at the size of
nice,
that
that's
thing. Look at the size of that thing.
Now, look at that. Blew the shiner
that.
off the line. Did I
Get
have
it just
him?
like, that's just like you said, Jerry. It's gonna have just like you said.
Did I have him good?
Jeez,
Yeah.
yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. Look at the size of the mouth of
Alright.
that thing. Isn't that something?
So they blow that shiner right up the line
Yeah,
when they
just
when
flat
they get
blow him
hooked.
up just like you would a worm.
Yeah, because they're trying to spit it out, but the
Yeah.
hook stays in the mouth.
Right, they get the hook.
Incredible.
That's something. Isn't that a beauty? Isn't that a beauty? What if
That's a
Jerry? How big do you think that fish is gonna go?
I think he'll go 7 pounds or
7
maybe better.
pounds?
He might even be bigger than that.
Look at him. He's got the
Yeah,
big,
it's starting
the big
to fill
beard
up,
again.
isn't it?
Yeah.
That
Isn't
fish
that
can
something?
still put on a lot of weight, though, couldn't
Oh
it?
yeah.
I think it'd go another, what, another
During
pound,
the
2
spring
pounds?
of the year, the fish would weigh probably 9.
9 pounds, yeah.
Mhm.
Look at the full tail now.
Isn't that pretty?
Beautiful fish.
Nice
You get a kick
fish.
out of looking at that.
There's hardly
I
a
guess.
mark on her.
Why don't we keep him in the box and we'll show Reno and the boys, because we do have that bet going.
I
Yeah,
heard
that's
that.
All right?
Yeah.
Excellent,
By all
guys.
means.
And in the
I
meantime,
love
you don't
that
mind.
shiner fishing.
Ain't it great? Yeah, they can
How
really
deep were
spin
we
it.
there, Jerry? What, about 40, 45 feet?
Yeah, we're probably 40 feet.
I noticed the fish gave up pretty quick once it come up to the surface. Like, it's almost like getting the bends, isn't it?
Right.
When you're pulling them straight up that from that far down. Whoa! All right.
Now wait till we get to the big ones, guys.
That's the baby, right?
That's what I like to hear.
That's the baby.
That's what I like to hear. Nothing but a little southern confidence there.
Right. I think by the time we drift down to the end of the cove here, we should pick up another or two, Blake.
Another good size one?
Right there.
Oh, oh.
Boy! You talk about evidence, we got that on film.
Well, I had a stroke in there. He must have been must have been small. Live released him.
Is that where you guys been trying to throw right up in there?
That's it.
Actually, I got this out right over there.
Never played. Put it right where you want it for once in your life, hang up on weed. Never played. All right.
Did you see him come out?
Yeah. That fish will go too.
Whoa!
Whoa.
Nice
Dude,
fish.
he'll go better than that.
Yes, sir.
I saw him come out.
Yeah.
And he took a pass at.
That's a Kentucky eagle right there.
What is that, Ron?
Kentucky eagle.
Kentucky eagle? Look at him.
Buzzard.
Is that what they call a buzzard?
We are amazed. We thought it that great. Go back to when he saw an American eagle.
That's a buzzard?
It's a buzzard.
That's ones that eat people and stuff when they're dead in the desert?
Makes you wonder what they know we don't, doesn't it? How many circling over you? You really get the feeling bad when you're way back in one of these pits and there are about 30 of them circling. They think I don't know my way out.
Right there. Hey, not bad.
Sure.
Not bad.
There you go. That's a nice one.
Whoa, slow down.
Good little powder.
That go pound and a half?
Pretty good.
Well, the plastic worm really works, doesn't it, Ronnie?
Sure does. Real good bait in there.
Go back to the red again.
I'm back on the red again.
This pit fishing is a fisherman's paradise in that you can do just about it. You can fish deep if you're a deep water fisherman. You can fish live bait. You can fish shallow with plastic worms and whatnot. It was an incredible experience for me.
That's right. You get to do two things at once, don't you, Ange?
Yep.
Actually, what I got a kick out of, or what I found very strange today, was where we were fishing, the bass weren't relating to wood like they would be up our way. They were relating more to what Jerry was calling peppergrass. Isn't that what you're calling it?
Yeah, we have mainly peppergrass and hydrilla down here, and in the pits you won't find the hydrilla, just the peppergrass.
That's the only
just a
weed in here, isn't it?
Right, it's the only weed in this structure here, and it grows from the bottom clear to the top, even in 15 feet of water.
Well, most of the stuff we were fishing, the weeds that we were fishing, were about 12 to 15 feet deep.
Right.
And it's just a straight vertical wall of weed, and
Right.
it was incredible. That's a lot different than our fish, isn't it, Tom?
Yeah.
You know, our big fish will come up in those real shallow areas, and we can flip them out. And
Yeah. The funny thing I noticed about the pits is there really isn't, though, what you call like a transition flat.
No.
You're either very deep with a steep wall or very shallow with a lot of boulders.
and that you're talking steep wall.
Yeah. Now, if you want something that'll give you a bit of a relation to what we have at home, think of what you consider to be a classic smallmouth lake, and that's almost what these pits are like, isn't it?
Exactly. You just got sheer drops down to 40, 50, 60 feet, and then up, and you got a bit of weed line along the edge, and that's it.
That's right.
And,
Some great big boulders in places.
Ooh. Tell you, if they put smallmouth in these pits, they could have a ball with them, couldn't they?
I guess, Jerry, the big boulders are from where they just couldn't excavate it completely right near the end.
Right.
They usually seem to be up against the outside walls, didn't
Yeah,
they?
when they came to the end of the channel, they couldn't get them all out. So there'll be a few of them laying in there, and it makes super good structure.
On our tackle tip this week, Ronnie shows us a deep water technique using plastic worms.
When you're fishing in water this deep, it's important that you have a long rod to use so you can get all the slack out of your line. So what we'll do is we're casting out in about 40 feet of water. Flip sinker, we're using a 3/8 inch. We'll let the worm free fall down. We'll pull a line out to it so the worm will fall directly down, weedless. When you're fishing in water this deep, it's important that you have a long rod to use so you can we'll miss a lot of good get all the slack out of your line. We give the worm plenty of time to get on the bottom. Is we're casting out in about 40 feet of water. Pick up our slack and keep the rod tip up. We'll let the worm free fall down. We'll pull line out to it so the worm will fall directly down. Then we just lift that worm back to the boat. If we close our bell, the worm will swing back toward it. And we'll miss a lot of good structure by doing that. We give the worm plenty of time to get on the bottom. We'll fill a little tap. Close our reel. Take up our slack and keep the rod tip up, so we can take advantage of the complete reel down. Just taking out the slack, and we just lift that worm up and open. Each little bit of structure there is. Remember, when you're down there, to use a long rod so you can pull up the slack line. And we've got so deep a water for fishing here, we have to have a good long rod. That's a nice little fish to hit here.
Let's put them back, guys.
There you go. We're going to leave them here so you can come back and get them.
Come along to our cabin in the